Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like this season has been pretty bad for the airlines. They had a pilot strike, and now they're announcing that there is a shortage of air traffic controllers. Not good, America. Mm-mm-mm. A lack of air traffic controllers is industry's biggest issue, United Airlines CEO says. It's been all kinds of problems, actually, even last year. The coming Memorial Day weekend could be the busiest in years for air travel. Close to 3.2 million travelers are expected to fly this weekend, according to AAA. More than 5%. This is an increase of 5% since 2019. Meanwhile, the airline industry had multiple disruptions recently. Perhaps the greatest was the Southwest Airlines meltdown over the winter holidays when the carrier canceled more than 15,000 US flights after a technical failure. So, are airlines ready for the weekend? United CEO Scott Kirby spoke to Morning Edition host Michael Martin from Denver Airport. The interview has been edited because it was pretty lengthy. When weather happens, there's nothing you can do, but what you can do is recover quickly. What we attempt to do is really isolate the problem to the day and location where the weather is and not have it bleed over into the rest of the system. We've gotten pretty good at that. It's not always possible, especially if there's weather rolling across the entire country. That's where it gets really challenging. But for the most part, if the storm hits Denver and closes the airport for a few hours, we've got pretty good at isolating it to just a day at that airport. The biggest issue for us and for the industry of air traffic control staffing shortages. The Secretary of Transportation acknowledged that they're short 3,000 controllers. Wow. We have fewer air traffic controllers today than we had 30 years ago here in Denver. The last 2 days, we woke up to a 30% reduction in the arrival rate of aircraft at the airport because of air traffic control staffing shortages on clear blue sky days. That is by far the biggest issue and the most addressable. By the way, it is not the fault of the FAA. This is a 20 to 30-year-old issue. They simply don't have the congressional authorization. We are working hard to get the right amount of resources and a bipartisan FAA reauthorization bill to address that issue. The issues are never isolated. When Denver had that reduction in arrival rates, that doesn't just impact those flights. Those are airlines that are scheduled to keep flying around the whole country for the rest of the day. The same thing happens in New York. It's a help that the number of flights have been reduced in the New York airspace this summer, but this isn't unique to New York. Yeah, well, I don't know how you fix a problem like this in a short period of time. I don't think it can be fixed in a short period of time. It's everywhere in the country, and it's really about air traffic control staffing. And we have to fix this issue. We've invested in physical infrastructure, like 4 parallel runways here in Denver. So we couldn't use 2 of them Monday because there weren't enough air traffic controllers to use the other 2 runways. We think our pilots deserve an industry leading contract, and we have put that deal on the table. It includes significant work rule enhancements. There are a lot of changes that they requested in the contract, and an awful lot of changes that we've agreed to. And it's just taking a little time. But the deal that we have on the table is a better deal than either Delta Airlines deal or the recent announcement American Airlines deal. So I hope that we are close to the finish line with them. So, you know, airline the airline industry, it seems like since the pandemic, they have not been able to bounce back. It's like something is always happening that impacts so many people on a regular basis. So I think what they're doing is looking to the Biden administration to help them remedy this shortage that they're experiencing in the country with air traffic controllers. So I saw the Secretary of Transportation 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you exactly what I said to him, which we have every motivation to run a reliable operation because that's what's best for our customers, which means that's what's best for our business. And we are doing that. By far, the biggest issue that we have is the weather and air traffic control delays. I mean, every day it's chronic. Every day we wake up to restrictions in the amount of capacity that we can have, and that bleeds through the rest of our system. But I think the most important point is safety. We start from day one with every employee and we drill it into them that safety is number one. You don't think about cost. And if you all of a sudden start saying, well, there's a big expense associated with delaying or canceling this flight. I don't want to chip away at that safety foundation with the pilot or mechanic in the back of their mind saying, well, this is a close call and it's going to cost a lot of money. We shouldn't do that. So, they said they're also concerned about the looming debt ceiling deadline because apparently airports across this country are gonna be impacted if they don't resolve this issue. So, defaulting on debt could be an unnecessary, unforced error. We just shouldn't do that. To me, our politicians, and this is a bipartisan comment, need on both sides to find a compromise and not let this happen because it's just a really big risk. It may, maybe it winds up lasting 1 or 2 days and no big deal, but there's a lot of dominoes lined up. Yeah, it's gonna impact a lot of things, especially, things that are controlled by the US federal government. If the debt ceiling and I looked yesterday and this morning, and I saw that talks are still breaking down between McCarthy and Biden. So they're no more closer than before he left for G7 and came back. So I'll keep an eye on that story, but y'all please tell me what you think. I think it's a dangerous thing when you don't have enough people directing the air traffic, and now you're putting lives at risk. And it just goes to show you these folks are not prepared for any and everything. In fact, they're not prepared for nothing, and that's what the pandemic has showed us. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.